Like Kyle said, my name is AJ. Is this really loud?
You good?
My name is AJ, and I have the honor of hanging out here in real life all the time with my family right here. Here in here, that's what you are. You guys, we're family. And we're here to encourage one another, and it's just an awesome time hanging out with y'all. I love it. And it is United Tribe Night. How many of you are excited to be here with your tribe?
Let's go. Let's go, boy.
Hannah is the only one. She's like, yes, I'm here. I gotta give a quick shout out to my tribe real fast. Tribe 11 right here.
Let's go.
So
Tell me.
What's up, AJ? Proud of you, man. Love you, dude.
Open up your Bibles or your Bible apps. Isaiah
On the right side, you can't stop on concrete, so I think you'll
As you
get
get
there.
there, you're going to notice
He'll get
this is
that.
a really familiar scripture. This is something that we send to people when they're
sound like
struggling
Ethan
with
Dolan,
something. Perhaps they have a big test coming up, a loss in their family. It's just a verse that we use to encourage people. And we're not going to read it just yet. I'm going to talk about it here for a second. You see, because it talks about eagles. And I wanted to know why is an eagle so important? What's the deal with eagles? What's the symbolism behind it? So I watched some National Geographic. How many of you like the National Geographic?
Come on, yeah.
It's really good.
Animal Planet.
I love it. And I'm very excited to do a bunch of reading too. But I found out a bunch about eagles. I'm going to share about eagles first, then we're going to dive into the scripture. You see, when an eagle is ready to lay its eggs, like most birds, it builds a nest. But unlike most birds, it doesn't just plop down in the nearest tree that it finds. No, an eagle soars up high, way up in the mountains. It looks for a spot that's far away from any dangers so that it can grow its nice eggs right there and have its babies eagles. But an eagle takes it one step further. It doesn't just build any nest out of little twigs and trash that it finds. No, an eagle, wow, there's a scripture. An eagle builds a nest out of nice, strong wood. So you find small branches, it covers it with feathers on top. It builds one of the strongest and softest nests out of any bird species out there to grow its eggs. And those eaglets grow up in this nice nest, far away from any dangers, oblivious to the fact that they are destined to become one of the most powerful birds, one of the most powerful predators on the earth. Like us, they don't know the gifts and the talents that God's given them. They have no clue that they're destined for greatness. They're comfortable, and they like it that way. The mother bird, however, has different plans for them. As they get a little older, she starts pulling away the feathers, starts exposing those rough branches underneath, makes the nest a little itchy. They start to hop out of the nest. They start exploring the cliffside around them. And as they explore it, they build their leg muscles up. They get a little stronger and a little stronger each and every day. But she takes it one step further. See, she's getting them ready for the big leap ahead. We don't know they have to fly one day, but these eaglets, they have no clue. So what she does next is incredible. She picks them up, and I want you to imagine this with me. She carries them out to the edge of this huge cliff. And I'm sure they're looking out there like, man, this is beautiful, Mom. I love the waterfall right here. There's clouds here, rivers. And then in mid-sentence, she drops them right off the cliff. And they go falling all the way towards rock bottom. They're flapping their wings. They're carrying. I'm sure they said a few choice words as they were heading for the bottom. But at the last possible minute, she saves them. She brings them back up to the top and repeats this over and over again. You see, every time she drops them, they flap their wings. They get a little stronger. They start to fly for a second, and then they'll fall again. But eventually they soar. They go on to meet their destiny. They go on to be an eagle. The Bible tells us in Deuteronomy that just as the eagle stirs the nest, so too does God stir things in us. But before we can take a hold of what God has for us, He has to grow us. He has to challenge us. You see, He has to make us stronger so that we can meet the mission He has for us. And each and every day, He helps us build those abilities, those talents. And if we're honest, sometimes it feels like we're falling head first. Sometimes it feels like we're going to fall. And so I want to show you this really quick video real fast because I think it's hilarious. And so if you want to cue it. So there's no sound here. But this man right here, he's at a funeral. He's going to toss this gun and watch it right here. It falls. love that. In fact, I would love to watch it one more time. Here we go. Remember, this is a funeral service. It's supposed to be his Oscar prime moment, his great example.
He said,
He tosses it
and
up
it
here.
fly. He said, I know, he crouched down, sat and soared.
If we're honest with ourselves, I think we all encounter moments like that dove. Some of you might be going through a moment like that right now, where you feel like everything's falling apart. Maybe you don't quite know what's going on. Some of us here are preparing for college. This is your last few months of high school. You're trying to figure out which one you want to go to, how far you want to travel, which scholarships to get. Some of you guys are preparing to get a summer job, maybe for the first time ever. I know a few of you are going to camp this year, and I've got to talk to some of you. I'm so proud you're going to be camp counselors for the first time. And there's about 30 of you going to Mexico on a mission trip.
Come on.
Which is incredible. But whenever we're starting to do the things that God tells us to do, we have an enemy. He pops up. He likes to bring fear and doubt into our minds. We start to question ourselves, am I good enough? Can I actually do this? Maybe Jason's better than me. He might be able to speak Spanish. I don't know. So we start to panic. But this is where the prophet Isaiah reminds us of God's word. You see in Isaiah 40:31, it says that those who wait for the Lord, and that simply means that those who trust in Him, those who believe that He's going to get them to the right place at the right time with the right people, that they shall renew their strength and mount up on wings like eagles. That they shall run and not be weary, that they shall walk and not grow faint. I don't know where you're headed this summer or in the years ahead. I don't know the tough decisions you have. But let me encourage you that God has a plan. You see, it says in the Bible that God has a plan for each and every one of us. That He goes before us and He prepares us for that place. That He lays the foundation. But He doesn't just go before us. He stands right beside us and behind us. And there's even one scripture that says He holds us in the palm of His hands.
Yeah.
He has a plan for each and every person.
It's good, AJ.
He didn't forget anyone. You're not left out. He's going to take you to the places He's prepared.
Yeah.
But how do we know if we're following God's plan for our life? How do we know if we're going to get to the place that we're supposed to? So if you're taking notes, there's 3 quick points I want to make real fast. The first one is you've got to be connected to the source. This is this right here. It's the Bible. You see, the Bible is God's personal letter to each of us. It details our success. It tells us how to lead, how to build relationships. It equips us for everything that God has for us. The second thing is you got to serve. Just like those eaglets had to branch out to grow stronger, we too have to take that lead. And one of the great places that you can serve is right here in the church. Maybe it's joining the Real Life internship. Maybe it's going and working in the coffee shop or joining the worship team. Maybe you can be like Elizabeth and taking pictures, building up those photography skills. But you got to build those abilities. You see, each of us have talents. 412 has a talent of screaming really loud. They had to work up to that. It didn't happen overnight. They had to build it up. We have to build our abilities and talents too. The third thing that we have to do is connect with godly people. Get involved with the tribe. Grow those friendships with people who are going to pray for you and encourage you as you head towards the things that God has for you. You see, even Jesus had friends. We call them disciples. They went everywhere with Him. They prayed together, they ate together, they laughed, they played pranks on each other. I mean, how funny is it when He told Peter to throw that net on the other side of the boat? And they almost flipped the boat. I mean, they always were together. They had a blast. God didn't design us to go through life alone. In fact, in Ecclesiastes 4:9-10, it says that 2 are better than 1 because they have a good reward for their toil. For if they fall, one will lift up his fellow. But it says, woe to him. In fact, one translation even says, I pity the fool who is alone, for he has no one when he falls. God designed us to work in partnership with one another. So perhaps you're sitting here tonight and you're like, man, AJ, that's great and all, but I don't feel like I have a plan. There's not a purpose for me. God forgot me. I feel like I'm on the cliff, I'm falling, there's nothing there. And this is where the prophet Jeremiah reminds us of something incredible. You see, God tasked him to write to his people. And if you're sitting in here right now, you're a child of God. You're one of his people. And so in Jeremiah 29:11, he says, "For I know," and again, this is God talking to his people, "what I'm doing. I have it all planned out. Plans to take care of you, not to abandon you. Plans to give you the future you hope for." God has plans for each of us. If you'll dive into his word, if you'll serve faithfully, and if you'll connect with godly people in our tribes, he'll get you to where you're supposed to be. You see, if you would have told me this time last year that I would be speaking to a group of 100 plus people, I would have laughed at you. I was in an awful relationship that wasn't meant for me. I was in college pursuing a career that I was never supposed to go after. I was lonely and isolated, and when my world completely fell apart, I was left with absolutely nothing. So I had to start somewhere. I picked up my Bible, I started diving into the Word, I started worshiping again. I started serving here in real life and all across New Life Church. And I found godly people. People like Pastor Tanner and Emily, Kyle, David, Reagan, so many people here who've encouraged me, who helped build me up, who reminded me that I do have talents and gifts. You see, if I look around my life, I can see where God was preparing me for a moment like this, where he was reminding me of my calling. I started off in kid life and little life where I served faithfully. Some of you served there every weekend. I then moved to 412 and then college and here. I went all over the place building my skills. I didn't know what they were for, but I was getting prepared. God laid a foundation for each and every one of us. And so tonight, I want to encourage you to get back in the Word. Dive into your source. Learn the things that God has for you. Serve faithfully. And then join an encouraging group of godly people. So with that being said, I'm going to pray us out here real fast. Then we're going to move on to an activity, which I'm really excited about. So with every head bowed and every eye closed, Father God, we love you. We thank you for preparing us for what's to come. God, some of us might be a little weary as we move forward. We don't really know where you're taking us or what we're doing. But we know that you've already laid the foundation. You're preparing us for it. So God, we thank you that your ways are higher than our ways. Your thoughts are higher than our thoughts. That you'll never leave us nor forsake us. That you have us all in the palm of your hands. And so we thank you for this time that we get to spend together. We thank you for this time that we get to be encouraged to move forward. And in your mighty name, we all said,
Amen. Let's go.
So, you're about to split up in our tribes. You're going to have exactly 10 minutes to answer 2 questions. Now, I'm going to read these questions to you here really fast. The first question is to think about a time when you felt like you were falling, but God was really training you for something incredible. This could be a football game, maybe you had a personal injury or a big test, just some point in your life where you were challenged and you learned a good lesson out of it. And then share that lesson with your group. I don't know about you guys, but I prefer to learn from other people's lessons and not the hard way. So share something if you have it. And then the second question that's going to pop up is, what is one area from the main points that you need to work on? And what are some steps you can take? Perhaps for some of you, you might say, man, I'm a Christ follower, but I've never been baptized. So maybe that's your next step. And I have great news for you, because this weekend is baptism weekend. So you can sign up with Pastor Tanner or Kyle, and you can get registered for that. Some of you might say, man, I need to dive into the Word. I need to serve. I'd love to be on real life internship with Tim and Alex. Maybe for some of you, it's just connecting with the tribe. But you're going to have 10 minutes to get together with your group and answer these questions. And pay attention to what your fellow tribe mates say, because you never know who Kyle's going to call on to give a response. All right? So you have exactly 10 minutes.
Go.
Remarks. Get set. Go.